rooting out fraud and identity theft in pandemic-era rental relief programs. Thank you for joining us. I'm Darren Perrin.
And I'm Kat Villianzoni. Vermont's emergency rental assistance program is coming to an end this month. The program has paid out more than $170 million in rental assistance, back rent pay and utility assistance to some 17,000 households.
Channel 3's Calvin Cutler is live in our Montpelier bureau with new details on how state officials have been tackling fraudulent claims. And Calvin, you've learned about cases of fraud in this program. How many are we talking about here?
Right, Darren and Kat. Now, at first, there were many instances of fraudulent claims. Instances of identity theft, however, have been rare. But for those involved, those cases can be destabilizing. Pandemic-funded rental supports are coming to an end.
It's been a lifesaver for families and landlords over the past 3 years.
That's Kathleen Burke with the Vermont State Housing Authority, the organization that administers the Vermont Emergency Rental Assistance Program. When VRAP was launched 3 years ago, she says there was an uptick in fraudulent applications.
We had to take a step back and we had to modify our policies.
Out of a near 34,000 total applications received, over 5,700 have been denied for fraud. $142,000 was also paid out to fraudulent claims, or fewer than 1% of VRAP's total payouts. The program also had to deal with identity theft. Just this week, Channel 3 News confirmed 2 fraudulent applications to VRAP, one targeting a renter and another targeting a property manager who had their entire identity stolen. Both declined to be interviewed for this story. Burke says 11 people have been victims of identity theft in the program's 3-year history, causing payouts of over $192,000. But she stresses that no personal data has been leaked from VRAP.
Identity theft is not something that we can control, right? Identity theft is really someone who has your information, who is able to pose as you.
Experts say most fraudulent activity and identity theft comes from sophisticated overseas organizations using stolen identities to send money to offshore bank accounts. When there is fraud, the FBI, U.S. Attorney's Office, and Attorney General are notified. The AG's Office of Consumer Protection works with people who have their identities stolen.
That often will inspire us to take a different course of action or investigate a company or advocate for legislation here at the State House.
But experts say it's a good reminder for all of us to think about where we're sharing our data.
There's always going to be a risk. We've let the genie out of the bottle to live in an online environment where we exchange information for convenience and for expediency.
Stressing that no matter where you put your personal information, Vermonters should stop, think, authenticate, and verify wherever and whoever you're sharing your information with. Now, the Vermont Emergency Rental Assistance Program ends at the end of the month. Darren?
So, Calvin, new laws in Vermont as of tonight. The governor signs a slew of bills and let a few become law without a signature.
And Calvin, can you tell us about what are some of the highlights of those?
Right. Sports betting, a big one, is now law. Now, starting around Super Bowl Sunday at this time next year, Vermont sports fans will be able to place bets on a mobile sports app. The governor calls the measure a form of consumer protection. And Governor Scott also allowed universal school meals to go into law without a signature, meaning Vermont public school students in grades K to 12 can access free breakfast and lunch. Now, Governor Scott, though, in his message to lawmakers, said he's worried about the rising property taxes for Vermonters on the economic edge. And he says those tax dollars going to subsidize meals for all students, even those from more wealthy families. Now, however, the governor acknowledged that the Democratic supermajority in the legislature would be able to override a potential veto on this bill next week. So he said he allowed the bill to go into law without his signature.
All right, Calvin, thank you.